It was showing before. I literally just tested this and it was working. It's so weird. Why? Something always goes wrong.
Do you have a special affiliation for Family Guy? Just from like Rhode Island and...
I do like Family Guy. I haven't really been, watching.
No, but I'm saying from... No, neither have I, but from like a...
Testing. What the heck? It was literally just working. It's a sign from Hashem. He wants me to put on tefillin first.
Maybe. Let's do it.
Testing.
It's the least exciting Archgirl story of Hashgacha Pratis. The podcast didn't work! And then it did!
Oh my god.
Did it work?
It has to go wrong. Why are you doing this to me? Hashem! Why? This man drove all the way from New Jersey for you to not...
Congestion pricing!
Yeah, you drove around for 20 minutes looking for a
Congestion
spot.
pricing. Well, it was good.
Now...
Actually, it was really perfect timing for the alternate side, because...
Yeah.
It
was good timing.
It was 12:30, yes. I guess you're really centrally located for club-wise, right?
Yeah.
Like you're right by... Where's the stand these days?
It's like by Union Square.
Is it really that low?
Yeah, it's like 14th.
Did they move it?
Hasn't it always been there? I mean, I don't know.
No, it was definitely...
Yeah?
I thought it was at one point it was in the 50s.
Oh, really? No,
we were right by Rodney's. Where's Rodney's?
Rodney's is around the corner.
That's great.
There, I go to Rodney's all the time.
Do you do spot? You just like can walk in, or?
Yeah, I mean, just open mics for the most part.
Open mics, right? Do they not have a lot of shows there?
They do, but I don't know who the heck I am.
Do you know Talia Reese?
No.
No, I think she knows not the owner or the booker.
Testing. What is? I'm furious. Let's see if I hit record. Testing. Unbelievable. And it's showing up on here. It's clearly connected. Alright, let's get drastic. Get out the phone.
Let's get the
cameras are rolling.
Let's get the troubleshooting.
The cameras are rolling. So we are still making content right now.
By all means, man.
But I'm gonna put on tefillin,
Right.
and then I'm gonna do a thing that I know is gonna work, and then we're gonna pretend it was God.
Let's do it. Grab this one first.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've done this.
There you go. Over there.
Gotta stand up, right?
You should, I think.
Yeah.
Don't talk in between this one.
Yeah.
There it is, right there. Say bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam, asher kiyishanu t'oratav v'tzivanu, la'aniach tefillin.
Man. Never been more hard on it. Had to do it. I usually do that to lock it in, to like hold it in place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever. Just my own thing, yeah. I don't know. Doesn't work. Or not hold it in place, whatever. Yeah. Set it on the forearm. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there you go. New year, man. New way to share. And you say, well, you gotta move it up so it's about like really right by the back up a little bit, yeah. And then you say,
Baruch atah Adonai, you're blocking the camera. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiyishanu t'oratav v'tzivanu, al mitzvot tefillin.
Man. You either sit or out, say some Shema, I don't know, whatever you want. Beautiful.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
I don't know what's that mean.
All right. Should I try to get it working with the tefillin on?
No.
Okay, so take it off.
Well, let's do the first paragraph, Shimon. I'm not gonna make it.
Let's see if I can remember the whole thing.
You know it.
I actually don't know if I know the whole thing.
Well,
anymore.
V'ahavta
et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha. V'hayu, I switch it to the V'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher it's good to get the chant with me.
Anochi mitzaracha
Hayom al levavecha
v'shinanta levanecha v'dibarta
tabam
shivtecha v'leisecha v'leftecha v'derech u'shapecha v'kumecha u'kshertam le'od al yadecha v'hayu l'tetafot
Bein einecha v'satam am zot beisecha u'visharecha.
There you go.
Nice. All right.
There we go.
Now this is viral content.
Oh, baby. You have no idea. Sure. Thank you for indulging.
Of course.
So so Providence, Rhode Island? I forget. Which one?
Yeah, Providence. I mean, I kind of lie about where I'm from for convenience of whatever's the most interesting in whatever conversation.
Right, I remember you being asked. It was very good, like an identity crisis.
I used to always just panic, and now I just confidently say whatever is going to lead to the most interesting conversation with whoever I'm talking to in that moment.
Ooh, that's a rough way to live, my friend. That's like, talk about like... So what are you? I don't know how to answer this. So hold on. So why is it so complicated?
Well, because I was born here.
New York.
And we moved to Rhode Island. I went to school in Massachusetts. We lived there for like 6 years.
Sharon?
No, and actually I don't know if I
Brookline?
wrap this the way you like to. In Brookline, yeah.
Okay.
My parents bought an apartment like a minute away from MIMO.
Okay. I did a show there. It was a good show.
Nice. And
okay.
Also, like, we always had, my dad had like a summer house in the Poconos we went to every summer.
Okay. And then who was here at this apartment? Or was just being rented out?
Well, oh, look at that.
It's working?
It's working. Beautiful.
Ani Mamin. 12:38. So let's aim for like more.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I think that'll be.
You got to get to your son's parent-teacher conference, huh?
Not a great.
How many kids do you have? Or we don't count.
Are we starting right now?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna be superstitious. Bli Ayin Hara.
Bli net.
Well, no, so I have 3 kids. Thank God, K'nai Hara, all the things. Baruch Hashem. I got an 8-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
It's a beautiful
almost
thing.
2-year-old. Yeah.
Did you when your kids were born, did you feel like, whoa, I didn't understand life before, and now I get it?
I think I'm still working on a bit here of how I'm not sure being an adult, which one's more adult. People always think having kids. I was like, no, having a house, that's much more adult.
Yeah.
Because there's no show called like 16 and Homeowner. You know what I mean? Like there's, so no. I think it's a matter of when you have a kid. I don't think you realize it until later, as your kids get older. You're like, oh my gosh, this is like formative for this. I was like, oh, they're gonna be a comedian because of this, like, or you know, for better or worse. So like, thank God, like I like taught my kids like the chicken dance from like Arrested Development, and I'm like, they were like, I'm passing on my weird sense of humor, like the Harry Carey, Will Ferrell thing that I do. I'm like, hey, and now my 2-year-old goes, hey, so it's very cute. But yeah, it's just a matter of parenting. You don't realize what you're how impactful the things you do are going to be. That's very challenging. Like,
so do you sometimes you feel like, oh my God, I just really messed up.
I don't think like I'm like, oh man, that's irreversible.
I'm sure knowing you, there's no way you did anything that's really that bad.
Thank you.
But like I'm sure, but also knowing you, I'm sure in your head you could be like, oh my God, I really did.
No, I don't know about that, but it's more a matter. I think it's more of not knowing what. Like I don't know what I'm doing in life. Like that's the thing. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a human on Earth or an adult.
Yeah.
So like that's the crazy part is that I still don't know how to be an adult, and I'm in charge of people, or like in theory in charge of people, and like, so it gives me some perspective. I'm like, oh, if I ever was like too hard on my parents, or like internally like thinking like, oh man, I can't believe my dad never did this or whatever, and I'm like, oh wait, he also didn't know what he was doing, and my grandfather like passed away when my dad was like 11, so like he very much had no idea in terms of that. I
mean, even my parents were. I mean, my dad especially was so old when I was born. He also didn't really know. Nobody knows.
Did we talk about the Gary Goldman joke last time?
The Gary Goldman joke.
Gary Goldman has an old joke about having an older dad. What it's like, because his dad was like 50, I think, when he was born, and so he says he's like he had his assignment when he was like in like 3rd grade or something like that, and they said go home and ask your parents. And that's everybody. Go home and ask your parents who was the president when they were your age. And what was the cost of a loaf of bread? And he said, all these kids said normal answers like, Eisenhower or like JFK. My dad was 50 when I was born, so I asked him who was president. President was Julius Caesar, and a loaf of bread was a sheep. I didn't do it justice, but it's a really funny bit. It's a really funny bit about having an older dad. Well, so how old were your dad was born? Oh, sorry, how old were you?
How old was I?
How old were you?
Dad was born. I was
other way around. How old was your dad when you were born?
He was 65.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
I still can't believe you're not even 30
his only
yet.
Child that he ever had. I think.
I tell that people say, how many kids do you have? I said 3 that I know of, and some crowds do not like that joke. Lakewood, New Jersey. Lakewood in New Jersey, they're not so into it.
Dude, I have so much respect for what you do, because these sober, religious synagogue crowds are like
my jam.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like they're not, because you go to like a comedy club where everybody's drinking and it's like they're whatever. It's like a Jewish crowd is really, it's like a tight crowd. Every time I've done one, I'm like, oh, these people are buttoned up,
I think you're also more intimidated by them,
for sure.
And I feel that way for when I do like Hasidic, anybody who's like, let's say, more quote unquote observant than me.
There's always
So anybody, I have it from both ends. So anybody who's more observant than me, I'm just like, oh, you guys are like Hasidic, and like you're judging me for not being as religious as you and all that stuff.
Your shirt has there's a color. You have a colored shirt.
I have a colored polo shirt. Yeah. I look like I'm constantly at like a l'chaim or an engagement party type of thing.
You're wearing jeans like a goy.
Jeans like a goy. It's such a out of who is your listenership, by the way? Are they do they know these things of like how inside baseball
I don't know. Who knows?
You don't.
Who knows?
Is it just us talking and we're recording it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
I mean, no, it's like, I don't know. We'll see who listens. We'll see. I've only been actually posting videos to podcasts consistently for about a week and a half. So
hey, New Year! It's the new Goyish year.
I was like, I need to start before the New Year, so because I can't. If you start doing something January 1st,
no, you're already lost. You're
full of baloney. So I started really it was like a month and a half ago. I started doing it. But then, like a week and a half ago, I was like, all right, every day of the week I'm putting out a podcast.
I think that's the secret to Sfirata Omer, where, like, after Pesach,
counting.
you count, and it's the contiguous streak.
Yeah.
The same, I think Seinfeld said that about, like, writing every day. Like, you have an X, just X off on the calendar that you did it. And that way, you breaking the streak is, like, I mean, that's how it probably AA works and all that stuff. Like, you're like, hey, I have a chip that says I've sober for 10 years type of thing. So when it comes to the crowds, I mostly do 98% of my gigs are Jewish and often Orthodox places. I'm trying to expand beyond it. I literally had a conversation with someone being like, I need
churches.
To have. Well, I'm okay with churches. I don't know what stories made it to the church, made it to beyond the. I think the hardest thing for me is not knowing what is beyond the Orthodox background.
Yeah.
So like Orthodox people, I know, hey, here's what you know and here's what you don't know, and based on my experience. When it comes to, let's say, conservative or reform, I'm just like, I guess it depends on how good your Sunday school was.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I don't know where you're at. So like a baseline.
Yeah. But would you go into a church? Because aren't you not supposed to do that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a rabbi, but
Yeah.
like, I went to the Vatican and took
Yeah.
to find the menorah, but like I went
The menorah.
for the people who are very confused.
Yeah.
Somebody posted
Vatican's beautiful.
well somebody posted on Twitter. They said, what's the conspiracy theory that you believe? And I said that the Vatican has all the like utensils from the Beit HaMikdash, from the temple. Right. Everybody's just like, of course, like not even a question. Like it's almost as like Epstein did not kill himself. Like the same level of like, no, of course it's already like, so yeah. So the Vatican's trying to be cool now and be like, hey everybody, we're cool with, they're trying to be on the side of, we're not getting into politics, but they're trying to be on the side of everything, try to be that like cool dad now. We're just like, hey man, it's all right, we're all cool, gay marriage, whatever, and Gaza and all the things, meaning they're just trying to, branding wise, they're going for cool, and we're like, we're just gonna ignore the last 2,000 years of horribleness from this institution, or 1,500 years from this institution. Like, no, I gotta get political for a second, just because, meaning a lot of like, let's say far right Christians are like, oh, look at Islam, how terrible is Islam, look how Islam is. Hey, just say, how Islam has been around for 1,400 years. How do you think Christianity was doing 1,400 years into it? Like, crusades, just a few crusades, pogroms all over the place, killing Jews, killing other people that weren't Christians all over the place. You weren't doing great for 1,400 years. So like I think Jewish people just have the receipts from the years. So we're just like, oh, we know the history, that we're like, listen, we know how it's been. So like, and again, that's why I think there's a lot of boy who cried wolf anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
But I think we're like, no, like we're allowed to be like, I think that's it.
Why I'm very suspicious anytime somebody says the phrase Judeo-Christian values.
God, yeah.
You like that phrase, Judeo-Christian?
No, it's the most like whitewashing of Jewish stuff. Of like, that's I worked at B&H at one point because I needed more material, and telling somebody you work at B&H is like telling somebody you have an extra room in your suitcase on the way to Israel. Like, hey, can you get me a discount, whatever? So like, I remember they're closed for like a bunch of Jewish holidays. They're closed for all of Sukkot and all of Pesach the entire time. And I told someone like on the phone, like a customer, like, by the way, just so you know, the holiday's coming up, we're going to be closed for this time. And this guy said, for the Jewish holiday, and this guy said, yeah, it's so nice that like your bosses have those he didn't even say Judeo, he said Christian values. And I said, we're closed for Sukkot, but okay, like way to reappropriate. I mean, that's I think that's what bothers me so much about this like anti-Semitism in the world right now, in a lot of ways, is that it's so like a woman claiming like assault, no one takes it seriously, and you're just like, and it's, anti-Semitism is so old of a stereotype. It's so old that it's a stereotype to complain about anti-Semitism, and like, so, and it's but it's subtle anti-Semitism too. It's everywhere. It's stuff like people being like, oh, like Christmas trees everywhere, like, and not even acknowledging Hanukkah really, or like just assuming everybody celebrates Christmas.
Do you think that's anti-Semitism? Christmas trees without a menorah?
No, fine. Sorry, it's not anti-Semitism. Fine, it's not anti-Semitism. It's disregarding Jewish experience,
I guess. But like, I feel like I see too many menorahs. I see, I mean, in New York also.
Yeah, but that's your trauma. That's your trauma.
Yeah, no, no, but I don't know why. Like, people celebrate Christmas, and if you don't celebrate Hanukkah, why is it? You know what I mean?
No. That's not what you're talking about. Celebrating Hanukkah, not celebrating Hanukkah, or what? What do you talk? What do you think? I
don't see how a Christmas tree is anti-Semitic.
That's not what I'm. That's much not what I said.
Oh yes,
roll back the stuff.
I think I misunderstood.
I think
say what you're saying.
The fact that the fact that there's almost like an assumption in America that everybody celebrates Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is a little bit of, becomes like an Americanized holiday versus like the religious element of it. Almost like, I guess, Halloween, which doesn't have like the pagan origins or pagan, ritual anymore with it. It's not like, hey, I'm a Wiccan or whatever, I'm pagan. But this like assumption that people are like, a Merry Christmas, and you're like, we don't do that. and you're like a weirdo, be like, oh my God. But like, that's not even on people's radar in the fact that there are people that don't celebrate, Christmas. And I'm not even just Jews aside. So I'm saying that the Jewish experience is just completely like bulldozed, I think is my thought.
I just can't relate to that because I feel like we're so overrepresented in media. It's like I feel like we're like 2% of the population, but everybody knows about Hanukkah. Or Hanukkah. It's such code switching. Yeah. Because if I'm like I goy down the way I talk.
I really want to do a sketch about that, by the way. A guy going from like Colwell to his first job.
Yeah.
And he just can't.
Yeah. I did that on the show at the cheese shop. I was talking about I was working on this Passover program. Sorry, I forgot where I was on a Pesach program.
Nice. Yeah. So you say you go down Hanukkah. Sorry,
I
just
said I said Hanukkah instead, which is I've never said that the first 22 years of my life.
But that's about you. But that's about you because you're in this Jewish world in a lot of different Jewish like circles.
Yeah,
and you're just trying to like put up your hood a little bit. I don't mean like white hood. I mean like put up your hood and
maybe
be like,
you don't know me.
Let's
get Nick Fuentes on the pod.
Yeah, I didn't know you had White Sox, not Red Sox.
Heyo.
Yeah, but just like you're trying to like downplay it. I think your Judaism a little bit.
I don't think so. I don't think I'm trying to downplay. I think I'm trying to be. Because it's funny, because at the cheese store, that the chopped cheese bodega.
Hold on, let's get context. Dovey Newberger put on a great show, which he does at the cheese store.
Show. Shout out to Dovey Newberger. Had us both on. Great audience, great show. But somebody said to Mikey afterwards, like, who was the non-Jewish guy again? And he was like, oh, Joe. He was like, no, the other not Jewish guy. They were talking about me.
Well, you didn't say your name was Ari.
Well, he introduced me as Ari. I talked about Pesach and Lipa Schmelzer and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, it's so funny that in that context, I am like a goy, and when I do other shows, when I'm just doing regular comedy shows, I am the most Jewish person these people have ever seen in their lives, and I play it up. And I'm not like, it's not even like I'm just trying to be genuine to my life experience. I'm not like trying to go. I think when I first like got to Binghamton after YU, I was really trying to like run away from the Jewish community.
Yeah.
But then after a couple of years, like because of whatever circumstances, all my friends graduated a year before me. And I was like, all right, I need friends. The Jews are there. They're right here,
for convenience. I mean, no. So but it also is like again what we're saying is that you went to the Five Towns, which is like a lot of 98% Orthodox Jews.
That's where my dad landed when he came from Oswego, New York.
Landed in Cedarhurst.
Yeah, well, Far Rockaway. Well, my family's in. Dude, the show was 2 minutes away from my cousin's house.
Wow.
Everybody went to daven at my cousin's shul right before the show. I had no idea.
That's amazing.
This is That's
so funny.
I had no idea.
That's so funny.
But it's.
But I'm saying your perception of like, that I was a goy, meaning you meant that like, hey, you're not as observant as them when you say goy.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Also, I said to Joe, the guy Joe, what was it?
Joe Briggs. Yeah.
Briggs. He was like beforehand. He's like so. Goy is not. I said, just so you know, goy is not a slur. And then he's like, and then he got on stage. He said, I just found out that goy is not a slur 5 minutes ago. I was like, it just means not Jewish funny. Person. It's the word Gentile. It's really not.
Okay, you're right. Technically, it's not a slur. But if we're being honest, people use it as a slur.
Correct. I would say the word Zionist is not a slur, but people use it as a slur.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a little different though, because to me that's like Democrat or Republican. It's a belief. You know what I mean? It's like if somebody is a Democrat, they hate Republicans.
Okay, but it's a slur. It's used as a slur now.
If somebody hates Democrats and they say that, is that like a slur? Because it's a belief.
You are not in Twitter as much as I am, if not. But
for
to
sure.
See the word Zionist.
No, because what I'm saying is, to me, being a Zionist is it's a mental state. It's a belief system.
Okay.
Right. Whereas being a goy is a circumstance of birth. It's like your race or ethnicity. So
it just means you're not Jewish.
No, I understand.
Is the word Gentile? Is the word Gentile a slur?
I think. Well, nobody really uses it that way.
Because I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes, you could use the word Jew and the word Jew. I think it was a Louis C.K. bit. He said, Jew or whatever. It's weird. You could say Jew and then Jew, but like Jew does not have to be a slur. But people say Jew, it could be a slur.
Yeah, it's all about the tone.
That's what I'm saying. Goy does not mean at the end of the day. It means somebody who's not Jewish. It just it's like.
Yeah, but I've heard a lot of people use it in a way that's putting down. It's like implying like this is stupid. This is what Goyim do.
I understand, but a lot of this is you with your like anecdotal. I'm saying at the end of the day,
anecdotal. It's life experience. What are you talking about?
That is anecdotal.
So is what you were. Everything's anecdotal.
I understand, but I'm saying strip it all down. The word "goy" is not a slur.
Sure, I'm not. I use the word all the time, and I use it as a slur. I'm not trying to like say.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that like there is the same thing that like you're like, oh well, Zionist isn't necessarily a slur.
Well, because to me, as Zionist, it's a belief system. It's not a racial or ethnic identity. You could be a Zionist and be not Jewish or black or white or Christian.
Fine. You're right. And that's annoying when I say like. Oh,
I understand that you could feel like you're being attacked on X because it's like, oh, you Jew. Someone calls you a Jew Zionist.
No, you can't say. No, you can't say Jew anymore. Jew is fine. You can't say I hate Jews. You can say I hate Zionists. And
you could say you hate Jews.
You're right. Fine, we're back. I forgot we're back. We're back to right now.
I say it all the time.
Now the right swing. Well, this is why you feel. This is why after you put on your tefillin.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm Eli Lebowicz. I don't know if we should.
It'll be in the title.
It'll be in the title. Fine. Yeah. But anyway, no. In terms of talk about our audiences, though. You say so. How do you play it up when you're at when you open for what Ben Benincus, right?
Ben Bankus.
I'm sorry. I meant to ask you. I'm like, I see it, and it's like one of those words like Lebowitz. Like I'm like, how do I pronounce this?
Yeah,
Ben Bankus.
Oh, we like to call him bed blankets for short. But because he always has Jews in his crowd.
He's from Toronto.
And there's usually
Toronto's got a
Jews
big.
too.
Toronto's got a big.
But even anywhere we go, there's always he just brings the Jews out. So.
He's like
and I always and also he has just a conservative audience,
like the Shane Gillis, Kill Tony guys. He's not in that world, but
no, he is in that world. He's been on Kill Tony. He lives in Austin. He performs at the Mothership. But he has his own crowd, who they are there for him. And I don't know if you saw the joke, because it's funny, so I got to that show and you guys were like, don't talk about Palestine. I was like, well, that's all you guys are doing.
I didn't say don't talk about Palestine.
I know Dovey said that, but it's like, and I was watching Mikey, he was like making BDS jokes, and I was like, what he's doing? It's like, because you're on the wrong side. And it's like, maybe in my heart, I like kind of look at the situation. We already did a podcast about it.
We already did a whole long rant about it.
But it's more fun to play up the being a Jew Zionist, because that's what the audience expects.
You're saying his crowds.
But I mean, I'll do the same jokes in liberal crowds, and it works differently. It works in a different way. I don't know, but because I have this one joke where I'm like basically the premise is that I'm pro-Palestine, and then the flip is like, I'm actually this big Zionist.
But it's also well, I gotta know the binary element of it.
Yeah,
that like it's ridiculous that people are like, are you pro house? Again, it's like, are you pro police or pro black people? And you're like, those are not.
Yeah,
mutually exclusive.
Yeah,
and like it's crazy that like how many genders are there, and you only think there's two opinions on the Israeli-Palestinian situation. Yeah. It's very simple for me. I'm just like, I just think that like when it comes to Israel, like people don't keep blaming Israel for everything, and they don't blame Hamas for anything. It's very simple, and it's like, look, I'm saying like it's not that I don't feel bad that there are people in tents in Gaza right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also been billions of dollars stolen to build tunnels underground by the very people that you're not talking about. And so that's a huge...
Ellie, when are we going to build our own tunnels? Me and you, let's build a tunnel. Let's go to Crown Heights, get some shovels.
By the way, even
start
that,
a comedy club
even
under
that,
770.
Well, that's the thing. Also, it's so easy for people to just go off the rails about Jews. Because Jews are this amorphous blob of whatever you want it to be. Mm-hmm. Anything you hate, there's a Jew for that. And then you can like find it. So you latch on to every conspiracy theory. It's always a Jewish thing. Oh, that guy! Look at that politician, John Fetterman, speaking up about things. Must be paid by the Zionists. Mm-hmm. Like Richie Torres must be paid by the Zionists. Like anytime there's ever a thing. Oh, this situation. Oh, classic. The Jews control the world. But like it's so.
Well, we are more powerful proportionally to our population. That's just a fact.
But powerful is just a matter of that like. Jews have been able to, I would say the comparison is like Joseph or Yosef in the Torah, right? That Yosef's a perfect example of like somebody who like ended up in a place and just everywhere he went, he was able to be influential, in a positive way.
Oh, we deserve the power.
But
I'm not. No,
but I'm saying, but like
Jewish
but
culture.
But like this like stupid thing of people thinking like, oh yeah, by the way, like Jews decide who's gonna win the presidential whatever, and you're like, have you ever been to a shul board meeting? You think we decide anything? We can't even decide the spelling of the word Hanukkah, like and like you think we have one opinion about, hey everybody, this is what's gonna happen now, and like it's just that there's a lot of ignorance, and it feels crazy that there's 15 million Jews in the world or less, and people are like, how are you everywhere? And you're like, well, we've been around for a while. Like that's the thing. It's the anathema to show off my YU education. The fact that it's so impressive. The fact that it's like it's a in Hebrew they would say or in Yiddish a pele de gazach. It's a wondrous thing that the Jews are still around. Is unbelievable. Is a miracle in itself, and that's why people are like, I understand. And then the anti-Semites say, well, there's a reason you got kicked out of 100 countries, and you're like, yeah, because the war.
Don't you think there's some truth to that?
That what?
That there's a reason why we keep getting kicked out of places.
Yeah, because there's a law of nature of bigotry. You think?
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
Then what are you saying? Then what are you saying? It's a law of nature.
I'm saying that. Well, no, I'm saying that at a certain point, you kind of have to acknowledge that bigotry is real. And then be like, all right, how do we avoid this happening again?
No, that's where we differ, because I think there's a whole bunch of people who think that there's a bunch of people out there in the world who are Jewish who have this quasi relationship of being an abusive relationship with the world, with I would say the non-Jewish world, because that's just like what we've been in different countries and stuff like that. So they have an abusive relationship with the Jewish world, with the non-Jewish world, and they're just like, no, this time it's different. Or they have a relationship of the friend zone, and they think, oh no, this time if I do this, then she'll like me. And that is why I think the Israel thing is such a litmus test, because there's a bunch of people.
I'm not sure I fully follow.
Sorry, my analogy is basically like one side is an abusive relationship, and they think even if you have a history of getting beaten up and whatever by your husband type of thing, or let's say a woman in a domestic situation, like he's gonna change this time. History has shown us for 3,000 years plus that unfortunately people come for the Jews eventually.
For sure.
Eventually.
You think it's going to happen here?
I think it's already starting to happen here. Yeah. Look, go on Twitter for a second, and you
agree.
will see, and how acceptable Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson.
It's so scary, especially because Twitter basically made Trump president, right? So Twitter is clearly an extremely powerful platform.
With the first time?
The first time, I'm saying, yeah. It basically kind of pushed. That was his main way of.
But again,
now.
But not to be red pill whatever guy, but the concept of like people thinking like, yeah, the right wing is really controlling everything, and the left wing hasn't not controlling anything, is very naive.
Oh, Yeah.
No, I'm saying well, meaning like this idea that like, and I've always been what I would call a centrist, and I'm just like, here's what I feel like. I didn't vote for Trump and whatever. I didn't vote for
How dare you
Kamala.
not vote for
I didn't
Trump.
vote for Kamala or Hillary.
You didn't vote for Trump, you bad Jew.
Yeah. Well, I say my joke about Trump in 2016 because the world was less crazy 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I said the Trump administration in 2016 was like a sukkah that blew over on the second day of Yom Tov, and all that's left is like 1.5 walls and some schach hanging over, and you're sitting in the sukkah and you're like, I don't know how kosher this sukkah is, and your dad's like, stop making fun of the sukkah, it's good for Israel.
That's funny.
And like,
that's a great bit.
thank you. But like these days I'm saying I haven't necessarily like, I've changed my tune on Trump a little bit because of like the world's just gotten crazy. It's like people are like Bill Maher, right? Bill Maher's a good example, right? Everyone's like, Bill Maher's so nuts, and you're like, I don't think you understand that Bill Maher didn't change. The world just got crazy on the left wise, and everything. The left view just kind of completely shifted. Like, look at Tim Walz and like Josh Shapiro would be a perfect candidate, except for the problem of him being Zionist or Jewish, which people can't deny. You can't say it's because he's Jewish, because he's a Zionist. So my other analogy about the
wouldn't that be bad though if a Jew became?
I agree.
That would be terrible. That was when I was a kid. My parents always told me we would never vote for a Jew for president because then they're just going to blame us.
Well, Joe Lieberman, right? Joe Lieberman, Oliver Shalom, he was
one of the greats.
Yeah, he was on the Al Gore ticket. He was almost vice president, and he probably was officially. If for those of you, look up the 2000 hanging chads. If it wasn't for a couple Pesach programs in Florida, there was a couple Century Village nursing homes. Not nursing homes, but Century Village homes. That's a whole long rant that people I can understand. But basically, it would be terrible. You think like every single thing, it's like, hey, why'd you make this policy? Is it because of Israel? Like, which is what happens now with conspiracy.
Did I ever tell you my Joe Lieberman story?
No.
I was working on a Pesach program. I was like with the kids.
Please, Passover program, everybody.
Passover program for the Gentiles and
Goyim.
And they had like a talent show, whatever, and I wrote like a comedy sketch and had all my campers perform.
Nice.
And the thing, like direct a little thing. And we made all the characters were people on the program, and one of them was Joe Lieberman.
Nice.
And I had 2 boys and like 7 girls, so I made a girl play Joe Lieberman. And then he came up to us after the show and was like, I really enjoyed the comedy. I like how you made me trans. And he walked away.
Okay.
It's my Joe Lieberman story.
He was a good man.
Yeah. That's not even true what I just said. I didn't actually meet him. I was away. I was putting props away. He went up to the other counselors and told them that. And then they told me that. And I was like, I missed my moment with Joe Lieberman.
Sorry. You could have
I was putting away the apron or whatever.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be like 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, a while ago.
Nice.
Pesach in the Northeast.
Oh, I did Pesach in the Southeast.
Oh, very
You did
nice.
it in Chesapeake Bay?
It was like Chesapeake Bay. That's Massachusetts, right?
I think it's like
or Maryland. That's Maryland.
So? I think so.
Is it that? No, that's Maryland.
My Northeast geography is real bad.
I did it in Maryland. I did it in Virginia.
Yeah. So I've done Pesach in the Southeast. That's actually where I'm going this year.
Yeah. Is that also Bruce Backman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's branding, man. He's great program.
I gotta get him on the pod.
Amazing food.
You think he would do the pod?
I don't know. You may have to.
There's no benefit for him to do it.
No benefit.
No.
Hey, we got 6 people, and like, hey, do you want to get your program out there? It's a really great program, to be honest.
No. Like a 5 flights of stairs.
I've done Pesach programs where you don't see the person running it at all, and that's a telltale sign. You see him all the time.
He's
and
yelling at people.
No.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
I've
but
seen it.
he's making sure things are good. Whatever.
No, he has to. I'm saying that out of admiration.
Oh, I'm saying the food is top notch, and he's always on top of stuff, and it's really amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm doing this here. Like I really mean it. My other part of the analogy of the Jews in the world, when I said about the friend zone, is that it's almost like, again, if a guy thinks this girl is a friend of his and he wants her to, but he likes her, but she's not gonna think him more than a friend. He's like, if I do this, If I help her with her homework, then she'll like me. If I do this, then she'll like me. So with Jews, there's a lot of people who are like, there's a number of reasons of what they'll do to make the Goyim like us.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is, I'll change my name. And they won't know. I'm going to change my name at Ellis Island, which, according to Dara Horn's book, People Love Dead Jews, it wasn't Ellis Island did it. It was just that people did it themselves because they didn't want to tell their kids, hey, by the way, America, this land that you're leaving isn't as acceptable to Jews as you think. So, but people think I'm going to change my name. That's one. That's another thing. I'm going to just not celebrate, not do religious practice. Okay, that's another thing. And then this generation is Israel. Is if I don't support Israel, and I'm not saying they're actively necessarily doing that.
Do you think that's why I am skeptical of Israel? Do you think
No.
it's because I want to appease non-Jews?
First of all, I don't.
'Cause I would
when I
say-
say the royal
Yeah.
Jewish thing, I don't mean you.
Well, no, because you're sitting across from somebody who fits in, who is that person.
No, because I think there is an active. I think you're much more informed.
Yeah.
I think there's a bunch of people who are like, basically like, I don't even know if they're doing consciously. I think there's a bunch of people who are just like, oh, by the way, when it comes to Israel, we're the good Jews. You know what I mean? They were kind of much trying to tell the world, no, that was them. We're not like that.
Yeah.
We're and I
But
mean,
I relate to that because I look at the way a lot of Jews behave and are like so brashly pro-Israel in a way where they're just, kind of cheering on what it feels like you're watching people cheer on the deaths of innocents, and then you look at that and you want to separate yourself from it.
right, but
Like,
I think
can you understand where that comes from? Like
yes,
that's
because,
a logical.
yes, because but they're also projecting their own feelings on that. Meaning the same way. No, but I'm saying
their feeling is they don't like to see when a lot of innocent people die, and they don't want to be associated with the cause of that.
Right, but they're projecting what people are cheering on.
It's
the
a
same
bad
way that
look,
word,
though.
same way the word Zionist to people
Yeah.
means, and I know we didn't say we're not going to talk about politics, but
Yeah.
it's a core of our identities clearly.
Yeah.
But like the same way that Zionist doesn't necessarily mean, hey, you're a Ben Gvir guy who was like, hey, let's just like make new settlements everywhere and all that stuff, and it's like very different than like, no, I think like when stuff goes down, which it might very soon, Jews have somewhere to go. And that, to me, Zionism, as somebody said many years ago, Zionism is like feminism. Feminism to non-feminists or anti-feminists is like, what? You're bra burning, you hate women, hate men, and all that stuff, and that. And you're like, no. To a lot of people, feminism means women should be treated equally.
Yeah.
And
So you said. So that's an interesting point. You're saying Israel, we have a place to go. I feel like Israel is the reason we might need to go somewhere.
But don't you think that's circular? Don't you see the circular logic of that?
I mean, what do you mean circular logic?
You're saying Israel is making us like. Don't you
Israel's
understand?
creating anti-Semitism,
and that's where I think your logic is flawed because
Yeah.
you think that. And here's how I know it's flawed. How were things pre-1948?
They're pretty bad.
So, if we're gonna go by the logical thing,
Yeah.
things are bad. How did people feel about Jews pre-1948?
I mean, that's the thing, though. Is I think most people were pretty tolerant. It was a radical small group of people who took over and pushed the agenda.
What are you talking about? Talking about
Like
Israel now?
Nazis in Europe and everything. Like my father was hidden by. There were
A small number of people. Well,
Mo-
a small
no,
number
it
of
was-
people made 6 million Jews and millions of other gays
for sure.
and gypsies and things like that get
for
killed.
sure. But even today, like most people who I talk, like I'll tell people I'm Jewish, blah blah blah. 99%, like no, 100. Everybody who I meet in real life is not somebody who wants all the Jews to die. There's probably, and I know that there's people out there, and they're in these They're probably in these little caves planning. They're probably getting their guns already. You know.
But I think you're also thinking of it as scales of anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Also, it's like if gender is a binary is not a binary thing, but is a spectrum, let's say, or whatever. So like I would say the same thing with anti-Semitism is a spectrum. Look at England and Ireland, for example. Ireland and England, I would say, are very good examples.
Mm-hmm.
You see these accounts that hate Israel with a passion, or are so pro-Palestinian, and then they're even resistance is justified and all that stuff. You check the account, it's always like Ireland or like England or Australia.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with Ireland specifically, I think it's just you just changed your reasoning for hating Jews from, by the way, they killed Jesus, to they're killing. It's Rabbi Jonathan Sachs has a whole video. Olva Shalom has a video about this, about the morphing of anti-Semitism. And yes, this is not one of these straw man arguments where I'm saying you can't criticize Israel though being considered anti-Semitic. You could totally criticize Israel. Israel does so many things wrong, and
for sure.
There are so many things.
But
Israel
also, it makes sense because to me, people hate Jews because, I think we do have a superior culture that leads to success. And you look, what's the culture of Ireland? It's fucking drinking and singing and whatever.
Why don't people hate Asians?
And same thing.
But people don't hate Asians as much as they hate Jews.
In
Why don't people
America,
hate Indian people?
Just to say, and they're definitely during COVID, people for sure hated Asians. More than they hated Jews.
Yes. And if a bunch of people said, "Hey, that was really that was racist against Asian people," and then, but like, there was, but there isn't this thing of like right now. If you said you're from China, people like if you said you're from Israel, and people are like,
well, I think it's also. I mean, again, this is just my personal thing, but you look at America's relationship with China. It's very clear. There's boundaries, and it's like this is our adversary. This is our competitor. Whereas with Israel, people feel like it's a succubus sitting on top of the United States, controlling the levers of power.
But don't you think that's like an anti-Semitic trope?
I think it's reality. If you look at the way
that's anti-Semitism. Sorry, buddy. You think there's an Israel? Yeah, go.
If you look at the way Trump treats every single foreign leader that he meets with, I'm not saying it's because Israel is Jewish. It's because Israel has Israel does have tremendous power over the U.S. Congress, over U.S. politicians. Everybody's taking money from AIPAC. How is that anti-Semitic to say?
It is not. But how much money does Qatar or Iran giving? How much is Qatar? Oh, well, maybe you should. Okay. I'm going to call you out on that because if you're going to single out AIPAC, because that's the fun one to do, call out how much money is Qatar giving to universities and colleges, and the real reason people are seeing accounts from Poland posting about Gaza or whatever. There is a global war here. Israel is fighting a war in Gaza. Qatar and Iran are fighting a war around the world to make everyone hate Israel. And that's the real thing happening, in my opinion. And you could back it up but you see how much Qatar gives. And so, yes, AIPAC is the one people like to do because don't you understand that? Don't you think that like the AIPAC controls the U.S. is not just a reforming of the Jews are controlling the banks?
It sure, but it's if you look at I don't know because you look at what happened. Israel is fighting Hamas. They're fighting Gaza, right? Why is it that the United States has to now give them all the bombs to go destroy everything?
How much does an Iron Dome missile cost?
I don't know.
Okay. Iron Dome missile, I think, costs hundreds of $1,000s, several $1,000s at least. Just on October 7th, October 8th, 3,000, 4,000 missiles were shot.
Okay.
So, like, hey, maybe have Iran stop funding Hamas and, you get everybody. That's the thing that bothers me so much is this, like, this straw man argument or not straw man argument, but people are just like not thinking about, hey, you want to get people the better life for Gaza? Get rid of Hamas and get rid of people who are stealing money from aid so that or hoarding baby formula, which I don't know if you saw that a few weeks ago. There was a little thing of literally hoarding baby formula. People are like, babies are starving, and they're like, maybe they're doing that to make Israel look bad, because the only weapon Hamas really has deep down, other than actually killing soldiers and whatever and civilians, is to make people hate. And Israel's fighting this war in Gaza, and then Hamas is just fighting around it, around the world, to try to make it, because that's their war was PR, and Israel they were fighting two different wars. And so I'm saying, when you call it AIPAC, how much? Look it up. How much does AIPAC give versus other governments to lobbies? Not nearly in the same amount. And if you think, and you're buying into it without even realizing it, and I think that's like, so to think that Israel is like the way like a succubus, like this thing to try to like control. That's like a cartoon of like an octopus, like with like tentacles, and being like, they're controlling the leaders.
But again, so what you just said, Hamas is the real problem. Like, Bibi he literally gave money to Hamas to prop them up. He's literally said that Hamas is good for him because it keeps him in power.
When did he say that?
I don't remember, a while ago.
So look it up and send it to me.
All right, I will.
Listen. By the way, that's the other thing. Bibi sucks, in my opinion. I said Bibi's like forgive the comedic analogy, but I said Bibi is like a dad on a road trip who's lost and too stubborn to pull over and ask for directions.
For sure, but he's the one. He's at least the face of Israel's agenda.
But do you understand? First, the face of Israel's agenda. Do you know how many people are protested Bibi for 7 months before October 7th?
No, most Israelis hate him. I'm very aware of that.
But I'm saying, like,
I'm not saying that all of Israel is like Bibi, and I'm not condemning all Israelis. I'm saying that the actions of governments.
But don't you understand that, like, the same way that Israelis are completely being prejudiced against Eurovision and things like that. Like, don't you understand that you could say the same thing about Donald Trump, who is the leader of America?
What do you mean?
If you say you're American and you're like, America should not be in the World Cup. Why? Because of Donald Trump. You know how insane that is?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So I'm saying there are these things. So if you say you're Israeli, automatically, even if you're a Tel Aviv leftist, or you're all these many of the people who were killed at Nova were the most left-wing peacenik people. The guy Oded Lifshitz was 85 years old. It was killed. It was returned in a horrible fashion during a momentous funeral that they paraded the bodies. Was literally somebody who would drive Palestinians back and forth over the border and whatever. And this was the guy who got killed. And it's like one of these things. It's like, you want a two-state solution? Here's what I think. This is what we're dealing with.
Yeah. I don't judge Israelis. I'm not.
But the world does. But you're buying into this stuff about AIPAC.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as an American, it's like, we have Muslim Americans, we have Jewish Americans, and the Jewish Americans are the ones who get their battle. We get to win because America supports us. Is that not true?
What do you mean we get to win because of that?
Because if America didn't give Israel all those huge bombs, we wouldn't have been able to destroy Gaza. It's just a fact. Is that not true?
And if America didn't give Israel money for the Iron Dome, how many Israelis would have been killed?
A lot more.
Is that not true?
For sure.
So then why are we? But again, how did the war start? How did the war start?
All I'm saying is, it's logical. If you're an American who, you don't have, Israel has universal health care. In America, we don't have universal health care.
Okay.
And yet we're sending them money. It just doesn't. Do you not at least see the logic of how you would feel like, why is my government giving money to this foreign country for a war that I'm not so sure about?
Why are you not so sure about a war that what would you do if in Mexico, a bunch of people from Mexico, from a government-supported Mexican cartel, captured 250 people and attacked a bunch of Texas and Arizona and California?
Yeah, if it's us, if it's America, we have to do whatever it is to protect America.
So what does that look like? What does that look like? What does that look like?
Israel,
what does that look like?
What's up?
What do you do? What do they do?
Yeah, you probably do horrible war crimes and murder innocent people by accident, for sure. That's what war is, but that's if it's your country. Israel is not. We're American. Again, we as Jews, I also identify with Israel. I do have a feeling where I do kind of love Israel.
But do you not understand from a value standpoint as American that Israel has the same values as America?
I don't think that's true.
Really?
At all. Absolutely not.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that, okay, again, well, actually, it does. It for sure has the same value. I mean, okay. America did worse things than Israel's ever done to create this country. I'll give you that. In terms of
okay, I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to say.
No. Listen, anything that you accuse Israel of, America, you got it. We got 5 minutes.
We have.
Israel's done. America's done even worse things than anything you want to say that Israel.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm asking here.
But today in the United States, I mean, maybe not under Trump, but to me, You're
losing the thing here. I asked you. I said, do you think Israel has the same values as America?
No, because Israel is a state where the whole idea is you need to have a Jewish majority. You need to have that, which means automatically you have to exclude some people, and you basically have this thing where you need to have a Jewish majority. Whereas in the United States, there's no explicit thing. Again, you can argue that the real core,
that's the only reason you think that they don't have the same values.
I think that's a huge difference, because America is
theoretically
a country for anybody who's the most ambitious, who wants to make it here. And Israel, in practice, is a country for Jews.
What about 2 million people who are not
okay,
Jews?
Oh, yes, I agree. There are some.
2 million people!
Okay.
In a country of 9 million.
Ellie, you know that they would never let that number become more than the amount of Jews.
But they have fully equal citizenship.
Yes, but there's certain neighborhoods they're not allowed to live in. They're not allowed to marry Jews. There's a lot of discrimination.
How many neighborhoods are Jews not allowed to live in there?
I'm sure. And again, it's the Middle East. It's different. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying it's different.
If you want to say Israel's, so are you opposed to America sending aid to any Middle Eastern country?
Maybe. And I'm not.
So America first. So then America
maybe,
first. Then.
But I'm not even trying to say that I think we shouldn't be sent. I'm just saying that if I'm sitting here as an American who doesn't have any affiliation with Israel and I'm watching what's happening, it's logical to feel like what I said, like Israel is just like a succubus sitting on top of America, taking advantage of its resources.
And don't you think that there's a possibility that what I said, that the reason you feel that way is because there's another Middle Eastern country or a couple like Qatar and Iran that are trying to make that perspective the case?
It's interesting. It's possible, yeah.
Meaning, I think there's a reason. Like,
I definitely think. I
said this to somebody on Twitter, saying like about this whole thing about this like Minnesota daycare thing with Nick Shirley, and this video has been 130 million views, and I mean, whatever you want to call it, if it was like cherry picking type of thing, but it was 45-minute video and like pretty thoroughly going into several daycares, and there was like long minutes of things about it where like you clearly see something's going on here, right? Why is it that every time you see a video from Israel or from Gaza, it's always like a 2-second random snippet or a screenshot of like a vague guy and whatever? Don't you think there's an entire possibility that there's just a campaign to make Israel look a lot more monstrous than it is? Isn't that possible?
I think both sides do that. I think that's what everybody
I understand,
does.
But clearly you're influenced by one side.
I'm influenced by both sides.
Are you? I haven't heard you say anything. I mean,
I'm very influenced by both sides.
But why is there not a? But why do you think there's not a global movement to stop Hamas?
A global movement to stop Hamas. You're saying the way that it's the BDS, because
or just protests or Syria or Sudan.
Yeah.
Why is it about Israel? Why is that the amount of people that were killed in, I think, Sudan, or I think in the last month, is more than there were killed in the entire war? Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Where are the protests? Where are the
a good
thing?
point.
So then
Very good point.
why is Israel this focused country on everybody's mind? The answer to me is what happened before 1948. And you're saying to me, well, Israel's making it worse. Yeah, Netanyahu sucks in a lot of ways. Ben Gvir sucks, and he's wearing, that Jews. A lot of Jews suck. A lot of people suck. A lot of governments suck. But like, are you? My gauge for is this potentially anti-Semitic? Are you treating Israel differently than another country with double standards? Are you thinking of it like? Are you questioning the aid giving to Israel because of AIPAC, because you've heard about it and it's trendy, or more so than Qatar or other countries?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not somebody who has any political power. I'm not even really, I don't think that what my personal beliefs or whatever, I don't know. The world is a confusing place. All I'm trying to say is that perspective has power to it because there's logic and it makes sense. That's really what I'm saying.
But I'm thinking there's logic in it, but the logic, it's also it's in psychology like an availability heuristic.
Yeah.
It's what you see. So you're like, oh, this is a cause and effect type of thing.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. There are a lot of Muslim-run countries, and I'm not saying this is an all-Muslim thing. There are a lot of regimes out there that really hate Israel, and I think the real reason, and your organizations like UNRWA, who have terrorist infiltration very much in depth. I wish John Oliver did an expose on UNRWA, and like really, if you really care, because they don't want the Palestinians. But
also, what is when you say terrorist? Like, you could argue that Israel was founded by terrorism.
What, Menachem Begin?
Yeah.
I listened. I when I read about the King David Hotel, and I'm like, okay, this is really a shady situation. But also, the British soldiers were helping the Arab forces that were like, it's not like.
Listen, again, I'm not even saying it from a place of judgment. It's like that's kind of what you had to do. But I just don't even like to make. I don't like to make any moral judgments on anything.
But you are. But you are making a moral judgment.
I'm looking at other people's moral judgments and saying it makes sense.
I think, and again, forgive me for saying, and I'm glad we put on Tefillin earlier. But I think you are representative of a lot of people's disillusion with Israel, and it has to do with a little bit with your Jewish upbringing of. There are a lot of people, I'm not saying you're this, but there are a lot of people who are like, I had a Rebbe in 6th grade who I hated. And I really have a chip on my shoulder about Judaism, and that is translated, or it's I saw the movie Big Daddy that came up my reels. Yeah. Big Daddy, the gothic guy who walks by like with like hair and with black nails and whatever. Yeah. Adam Sandler's like, one day, don't worry, he can't control your life. He's like, what are you talking about? You're mad at your dad, not at me. And I think that's so much of what this. The far left is just being contrarian to their parents, being anti-Trump, being all these things, and Israel.
Yeah, but I mean, I went to Jewish schools my entire life.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much until my 2nd year of college.
Yeah.
And we had Israel advocacy class. They taught us this is how you defend Israel. And they gave us these bullet points. They told us about 2 million non-Jewish citizens of Israel, Arab Supreme Court, Arab soccer players. Yeah. They gave us all this information. Yeah. They never gave us any information of the actual case for the other side. And I always assumed that the Palestinians, the not Arab Israelis, but
750,000.
I was always like, oh, they are given full rights under Israeli law. And I was sitting next to a friend of mine in class, and he was like, oh, no, dude, they can't vote. They don't get to vote in Israel. And again, that's for a lot of reasons. They don't want to be part of Israel, I understand. But still, it was always framed to me in a certain way. Like, these people are all given perfect rights, but they murder us anyway. Great. That was never taught about the King David Hotel bombing, all these other massacres, other ways that they got the Arabs off the land. And I literally lived in Israel for a year and never even heard about the other perspective until one time this kid who was on our program, he organized for us to go and meet with a Palestinian peace activist. And he welcomed us into his like little tent or whatever. He gave us all tea, and he told us a story about an Israeli settler who did a drive-by shooting and shot him in the leg. And again, this doesn't say anything about all Israelis. It doesn't whatever. But this was the first time. I've been living in Israel for a year. This was the first time I even had any idea that Israelis sometimes commit acts of violence against Palestinians. I had no idea. So it was like, whoa, what else are they hiding from me? It feels like Jews and Israeli, whatever, if not, okay, not all Jews, whatever, but like, Jewish institutions for sure try to create this narrative that is, I would argue, pretty much everything they say actually is true, but they're trying to make their truth so big and ignore the other parts of the story that are actually true. Does the other side do the exact same thing? Sure. But then, yeah, exactly.
No, but that downplaying of sure. Don't you understand that the exact experience you had at Jewish school where they kind of dismissed or didn't highlight some big parts of the things is that, like, every time you see Israelis kill 14-year-old boy, what was he doing? He was trying to stab someone. And like they completely ignore that. Or Bara Bagudi, they want to release him. What's he in jail for?
Okay, but Ellie, you have to acknowledge there's also cases of Israelis who are just being violent. Like that also
I understand that, but I understand that, but the number of cases is few and far between. Meaning, yes, there's a lot of settlers who are doing things that are terrible and horrible and racist and violent and awful. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't like.
So So here's the thing, though. There's really nothing wrong with that. That's the way the world is. You want to push your narrative. You want to push your truth.
There is
you want to tell your story.
But
No, I actually I disagree with you. I think that's the way you have to be to survive. Israel wouldn't exist if we didn't make our good truth try to seem as big as possible in comparison to the other truths of the bad parts. That's just the way you have to survive. And if you live in Israel, that's what you have to do. The problem for me is that we live in America, and people are now starting to accuse us of dual loyalty. And there's no way to deny that. There's no way to deny that Jews, often speaking, care more about Israel than about America. Is that not true?
Because America seems to go like every 4 years. It's like, all right, now it's time for the other team. America is in the wind. The morality or the laws are completely at a whim of who's in charge. Israel is pretty consistent for the most part of what it stands for. And yes, you have your BB coalitions and all that stuff, and that's not okay, and you're extremists. But for the most part, I can tell you Israel cares about human life. And I know that they do, because how many soldiers got killed because Israel decided to go in a ground offensive and not just carpet bomb all of Gaza, much despite what you may see on a Polish account claiming to be in Gaza. Like, that's the thing, is that so there is, because deep down I think the values of Judaism, the moral compass, is completely gone in a lot of society. It's gone. That's
the moral compass of Judaism to me, though, is if you read the Torah, if you read about you have to go into the land and you have to kill all of everybody who's there. Like, is that not built into Judaism?
That one element is all of Judaism for you?
I'm not saying it's all of Judaism. I'm just saying it's there.
But you just proved my
people
point.
in the Israeli government refer to Palestinians as Amalek.
So what?
Amalek.
I
said Amalek.
And people
that's
say
the Qatar.
And people in the
that's the Qatar
and
non-Jews.
And people in Hamas and Palestinian authorities say that the Jews are vermin.
No, I agree. They're also
I'm not trying to. Again, it's the Gemara thing of Hamotzi Mechavera Alav Haraya.
Yeah.
The onus of the proof is upon the claimant. What that means in English, it's on somebody to bring a proof. Okay, there is this assumption that Israel's the bad guy. There already is this assumption in the world.
I mean, sure, but let's talk about there's two people in this room and what our assumptions.
But I'm saying,
are.
but even you said,
I don't want to talk about.
That's fine. But I'm saying, I said to
Yeah.
you said APAC, so I called you on that. I think there's nothing. There's a revisionist history going on of yes, Israel did not. There are Deir scenes and massacres that happen, and Lebanon and things like that happened that were awful. But I think those are very few and far between in terms of the actual policy. Do you think do people think that, or you think that all these pro-Israel Jews are just being duped and tricked? We don't know any better?
I think that anybody who loudly chants that they support any government is 100% being duped. For sure, you're being used by a government.
Well, I hate to tell you, Mamdani, everybody's so pro-Mamdani.
Oh, 100%.
Right. I'm just saying.
I hate
I
that.
hate politicians in general.
Yeah.
I don't do politicians.
Yeah.
I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. So I said I voted for Theo Epstein and Bill Murray in 2016.
Yeah.
I voted for Josh Shapiro and Richie Torres in 2020. And Josh Shapiro would have been a great, I think, is a good, very good middle ground. But I don't think the Democratic Party will let a Zionist be the president or vice president. I just think that there's a revisionist history that you're also there is a this idea that Israel did as bad as you think. Here's an example again from a Twitter guy. It's just this guy Eisenberg, Aizenberg. He says this thing. Do you know that Gaza hasn't listed a natural death in 2 years? Everything is from the war. Mm-hmm. So everyone just died from COVID. Is that that's nuts. That's nuts. So 70,000. So that's why there's these numbers of this thing. This is the weapon they have is to make you turn what you know in your heart and what you and not in your heart or whatever. I just know that I don't think Jews with head on their shoulders would be supportive of this if this was a regime that's guerrilla terrorists. This is not.
Well, it's not. I'll be honest with you. It's pure selfishness. It's purely I like living in America, and even if Israel has acted perfectly, they literally killed nobody. The fact remains that they're able to make it seem like they did. And that we're paying for it, and that makes my life as an American Jew more dangerous. That's just a fact.
And you just proved my point from the beginning that I said, if I hate it, if I disassociate with Israel, then they'll like me. I assure you, the people that hate Jews will find other things.
Yeah, but that's all.
Epstein.
Yeah, for sure.
But
that's also not what I do. I should do that. I'm an idiot. I go on stage and pretend to be a Zionist. That's literally I do the dumbest thing. Whereas really I personally am not a Zionist. I go on stage and I'm like, "Hey, I'm a Zionist."
Well, we have with our third part. We'll have a part 3 where we talk about your identity issues, and you have your I don't know where I'm from. Where are you from? Whichever is the most convenient. Are you from Boston? Are you from Rhode Island? I don't know. I'm all from all over the place. Are you a Zionist? I don't really have things. You are Kamala Harris incarnate. No.
Eli Lebowicz, go to your kid's school. You got go take care of your kids. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Sure, thank you. Thanks, man.
Shkayach.